Every time Nigeria has an economic crisis, the IMF always gives the same prescription. Remove subsidies, float the exchange rates, allow the forces of demand and supply to work, minimal government interventions, and complete deregulation. Also privatize state-owned enterprises. That is just minimal government intervention in the market, just completely allowing the forces of demand and supply to work. But if you look at development economics, it tells us a complete different story. Just wait, let me explain this to you in simple terms. If you look at developed countries today, countries like the United States of America, United Kingdom, South Korea, and a host of other developed countries, they did practice protectionist policies. They try as much as possible to subsidize their economy. They invested heavily, they invested public resources heavily into infrastructures, especially public infrastructures like roads and water, electricity, and so on. They again protected their infant industries. They continue practicing this up to the moment they now realize that they are now big enough to compete globally. But if you look at the advice that the IMF is giving to Nigeria and other developing countries, this advice completely are the opposite of what those developed countries did practice. For example, complete deregulation, allowing the forces of demand and supply to work, minimal government interventions, or allowing the forces of demand and supply to work, especially when it comes to subsidy removal. If you look at Nigeria, subsidy was removed under the advice, because of the advice given to Nigeria by the IMF. They continue to insist that until we remove subsidy, and you can see what happened. In reality, these are all beautiful if you apply this advice, but in practice, on paper, if you practice all of this, actually very good, perfect. But in reality, this has actually led to increase in the price of goods and services all over the country. It has made inflation figure to actually go up, which is not good. So all of this, so I think for us to develop as a country, we must come to a point where we have to question some of the policies that the IMF is suggesting to us as a country and as a people, because you have to do the opposite of what they are telling you. So Nigeria, of all the crises we're facing, I believe it's not because we refuse to listen to what the IMF is telling us, but because we are practicing, in fact, what the IMF is telling us to do. So you must be able to do the opposite of what the IMF is telling you before you can actually see real growth and real development.